Well, good morning. This is Plant Smart Living with Farmer Fred. I'm really glad you could join me today. It's a beautiful day here in Pennsylvania, Zone 6. Well, I have here in my hand a package of collards, Georgia Southern. And I just wanted to share some tips and ideas with you on how to grow these seeds directly in your soil. So as with any soil, you really want to make sure the soil's well tilled, and as you've noticed, we grow here in raised beds here. Provides good drainage. You don't have to worry about the heavy rains in the summer or springtime drowning your plants, and also it warms the soil up sooner because they're elevated above the ground. And so you just want to make sure you work the soil, prepare the soil for your seeds to lay in. And you want a nice smooth, even soil that's broken up. I like using this garden weasel here. It's a rotary cultivator, and it really works nice for breaking up the soil clumps. And so you just want to work it back and forth. What I'm going to do is plant these collard greens in the middle of my bed here. I'm going to be planting 4 rows of one row of collard green here. It's an 8-foot long row. So behind each seed pack they always give you some helpful information, and let's just take a minute and go over some of this helpful information. They talk about the planting depth is a 1/4 inch. Now we probably might be planting these about 1/2 inch. 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch I think is fine, and then to 12 inches, and again that's up to you. You can grow them closer, but then you won't allow them to grow to maturity as much. Keep the leaves smaller, and then they like full sun, and then maturity is 70 days. And says this is a hardy winter variety. Direct sow in midsummer for a fall crop. With mild fall weather, collards may last until Thanksgiving. Collards need full sun sight and well-drained soil, and then also direct sow as soon as soil can be worked. And so it gives you a lot of helpful information there on the pack. And so what I have here too is a piece of pine. It's a 3/4 by 3/4 inch, and I use this to mark my rows. I work it back in the soil like so, back and forth, and so it creates a nice row here for your seeds. And then just put that aside here. And you also want to make sure you mark your rows at each end before you plant. And so again, I use these tent rods from when I used to do tenting, and so the fiberglass rods here are pretty much indestructible, and so you just want to make sure you mark each end. You can even go down the row with your finger a little bit if you need to dress up the row a little bit. And then take your pack of seeds and form a V in it. Again, you want to make sure there's no clumps where you plant your seeds, because you want the seed to have good contact with the soil. Kind of think of the bed here as a mattress, a nice plush top mattress. And so you want your soil to nicely cover the seeds, and so you want your soil to be relatively broken down pretty well. And so just simply take your seed pack. Again, it takes a little while to get the right rhythm here with these seeds, and I always overseed a little bit in case some seeds don't germinate, because I always end up having plenty of seeds at the end of the season. And so this will give me an 8-foot row of collard greens here. I'm also going to be planting some bright light Swiss chard here in this row, in this bed here. This is a 4-foot by 8-foot bed, so this will give me an 8-foot row of collard greens. I like to mix it up some. I'll also be planting some kale. And so just simply take your hand and push the soil back over. You could do it another way. Just take some soil from in between your rows and just drop it in. So that's another way you could do it. Again, just make sure there's no big clumps that fall on top of your seeds. But using your hand like that works fine, and then just, you want to tamp it down nice and firmly, nice and firm. And then what I'll be doing is covering this bed right away with some spun bonded polyester, some leftover pieces of row cover that I use. Again, it'll keep the bugs and the animals and creatures off, and birds out of your bed here. And the spun bonded polyester will keep the soil warmer and, you know, also hold in the moisture. And then you just want to take your watering can and just give them a nice watering. I'll probably make 2 passes. And so these should be popping their heads out of the soil, I would say, probably in 7 days. And so, you know, we love our collard greens here, especially since we've adopted a plant-based lifestyle. You know, personally, this will be 3 years for me, and, you know, getting away from the meats and the dairies and the cheeses and all, you know, those foods that cause injury to your body. I was able to lose 65 pounds, and, you know, my blood pressure plummeted and my cholesterol plummeted and my energy level just skyrocketed, you know. And so, you know, allowing our body to heal itself, you know, and, you know, most chronic diseases are caused by the food that we eat. And so, you know, that's the world's best kept secret, as I tell people. And so, yeah, we just love our greens here at Plant Smart Living. So anyhow, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the section below. And I'm looking forward to these collard greens, you know, mature in about 2 months. And so I just want to thank you for joining me today. So until next time, this is Plant Smart Living with Farmer Fred.